This tutorial is to show you how the new iOS 7 compares to the old operating system of any iDevices. So in case you're already scratching your head going, what? An iOS device is any device that comes from Apple computers and starts with an I. So some examples would be an iPad, an iPod, or an iPhone. So I had the pleasure of downloading the newest operating system, which was a almost like a 180-degree switch from the old operating system. Lots of new views and features, and I just wanted to kind of show you what that now looks like compared to the old operating system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect both my iPad that I've updated to iOS 7, which you're seeing on the screen right now, and I'm going to connect my older iPad that I chose not to update yet because I want to see how the update goes. And what you're going to see is the two environments side by side. Now, I have a funky background on my older iPad, so don't let that scare you. On the right-hand side is my iPad that is actually an iPad 2, and I have the iOS version 6 operating system on there. And then on the on the left-hand side, I have an iPad 4th generation with the new iOS 7 that I downloaded about 2 days ago. So I'm not super familiar with it, but there are some things that I really think are pretty cool, and some things that are very different between the two operating systems. So I thought I'd point just a few of those out. This will be a series of videos that I create to show you different features comparing the two operating systems. So if you look, I'm going to swipe on my new one just to a different screen so we can get a better idea. If you look on the right hand side of my screen, you can see that I have several rows: reading, productivity, social, photography, and bookmarks. And these are what we call folders. And if I tap on a folder, for example, social, you can see that I have a multitude of apps inside each of those folders. So I'll just tap on photography. So in the old operating system, you would categorize or collect apps in folders, and they looked like the screen on the right. On the left-hand side, we now have folders that look a little more, I'm going to call it Google-ish, if you will. I'm going to open my photography folder again on my old operating system because I happen to have a photography folder in my new operating system. So I'll open that on the left-hand side. And so you can see that they look quite different, not only in color and hue and brightness, I guess, but also in the way that they fill the screen. Now, here's another cool thing. Users were kind of calling for that subfolder option, so a folder inside a folder. If you remember, in the iOS 6 and earlier, you could not put more than 20 apps into a folder. And now with the new iOS 7, you can actually create folders. I wouldn't really call them folders inside folders, but you have pages inside folders. So what you're looking at on my screen right now is just the first page inside my photography folder. Now, I don't have enough apps yet in my photography folder to show you what this looks like, so watch for that in an upcoming video. But just know that you can now put more than 20 apps into a category. Things that have not changed, just really quickly to show you, if you look on the left-hand side in iOS 7 in the status bar, I just wanted to show you that across the top you can see we still have the Wi-Fi signal. We have the current time, and my current time is off. I'll have to go into my settings and fix that, which again will be a future tutorial for you. I can see that I have AirPlay on, if I have Bluetooth on, and how much of my battery signal. Jumping over to my right hand side, those things have not changed, well, except for the correct time on my old iPad, and then AirPlay and Bluetooth and my battery signal. We still have the ever-present dock with the apps that we use the most. That's still available to us, and our pages are still dots across the bottom. Notice whether we're in iOS7 or in iOS6, we still have those dots. One last thing you might be wondering, in our old iOS, we could get to Spotlight simply by swiping our home screen to the right until we got that Spotlight up on the screen. And that is no longer the way that you get to your Spotlight. If you look in the iOS 7, there is no Spotlight window. So all we have to do is take our finger and swipe downward anywhere in our screen, as long as we don't grab from the status bar at the top. If we just grab anywhere, so I'm just putting my cursor actually right here and swiping downward, I get the Spotlight search engine from that point. So those are just a few things comparing iOS 7 to the old iOS on an iPad, and I will continue this series to show you more details of how the new iOS 7 is different from the old iOS.